Hi, everybody. It's Zane with Sailing Views, and today I have a very special treat. It is Lynn Jewell Shore. Now, she is a Hall of Famer in my book, and definitely a great sailor. She's a former Olympian. She has done it all. She's just a great lady to know. So, how you doing, Lynn?
Hi, how are you, Zane? It's good
I'm
seeing you.
yeah, likewise. I'm doing well. Other than my phone keeps dinging at me, and I can't get to stop.
You're a very important person.
I don't know about that, but there we go. Airplane mode. Let's see if that works. Okay, so you've seen how these videos work, so I'm going to jump right in and start asking you questions. Uh,
Okay.
Now, for everybody that doesn't know who Lynn is, give us a quick introduction. What's your biggest sailing thing that you're known for?
Well, I think I'm known for being the crew and winning a gold medal with Allison Jolly in 1988. But I'm also known for pioneering women's sailing with regards to sailing against the men in lasers, winning multiple national and world championships, being one of the principal people to start the junior and women's single and double-handed championship that U.S. Sailing is now provided, which is now known as the Claggets. Been a part of, I guess it was IYRU in my days. Also been on the Olympic Committee, no, not junior, U.S. Olympic Committee for 2 quadrenniums and helping mentor women sailing. So that's kind of a bit of my claim to fame. And I don't know I don't know what else I'm a claim to fame.
Well, I tell you, that's enough of a claim to fame right there. You've done a lot. So for everybody that's just checking it out, obviously, this is Lynn Jewell Shore. She's famous. She is excellent.
Why when
Super
I
nice
say I
lady.
was famous?
Well, I will. So,
Oh, okay.
okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. What age did you get started sailing, and how'd you get started? How'd that come to be?
I got started sailing when I was about 7 years old. I was very fortunate. I grew up in California, but spent all my summers in Plymouth, Massachusetts. My mother is a sailor, so she introduced me into sailing. And I basically became a yacht club rat, I guess is what they say, from 7 years on up, and sailing against a lot of great people at Plymouth Yacht Club and had wonderful instructors there. So that's how I got started. But then I would go back to California and I wouldn't sail at all. I was very much involved in many sports. So.
Okay. So a good athlete all around, and you started early. And it seems like, most of the people I interview, most of them have started early. So I think
Mhm.
that's a good thing that I guess parents do. So, okay. So who were your early influences? Who helped you, get good and really taught you a lot of things?
Um, there were a lot of people that helped influence me. I think obviously my early childhood instructors. Then in college, I was very fortunate to have Skip White, and then from there were a lot of U.S. sailing coaches that I had, but I think the one that really pulled it all together was Bill Shore. He was the one that had the vision and the um, work ethic and unorthodox ways of training both Allison and I, that we were actually sailing outside of our comfort zone, which I think is what a sailor needs to do and understand it, because in order to take it to the next level. So yeah, I'd say those were kind of primary people that really influenced me.
I gotcha. Okay. So at what age or what time frame did you think that you're good? When you started going, I can do this.
And say that I know that I'm capable. I know that I have what my weaks and strengths are. I'm one of those people that I have to work at it. And I always feel there's always someone that is better than I am. So I would rather look to people and try and better myself. And in the um, doing so, if it makes me a better person and I succeed, then kudos. Everybody's moving up the ladder, but I don't go around and say, "Oh, you're the best," because there's always someone better than you. You're only as good as your last race.
Yeah, you're right about that. I don't think my last one was very good. So,
well, I'm just jumping back into the lasers again, and it's a humbling experience with all the new crew coming in and everything. So,
yeah, those boats will humble you quick.
I have a lot to learn.
All right. So, what is your favorite boat, and why is it your favorite boat?
There's two favorites. I would have to say the 470 by a long shot. I just think that is a very quick and nimble boat, and it's appealing in the sense that not only is it physical and tactical, but you can, as a crew, you have a lot of control in the balance of the boat and steering the boat. The Laser is the other boat that I really love to sail. And the next boat is my new model Laser. Which is great because you can watch it sail and you can control it and still have a beer and talk to people and be civil and not be wet. So that's my new boat of choice.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of friends of mine that started sailing those.
Oh my God, it is competitive, and let me tell you,
it looks like fun. I don't know.
It is fun. Yeah. I'm starting from the bottom up, but it's fun.
Yeah, I tried those years ago, and it doesn't transfer over as well as you would think. Yeah, it's true. You have to have good eyesight. I do not have that. All right, so let's talk about your favorite place to sail. Now, I know you've traveled just about everywhere, so what's your favorite place?
One of my favorites of all times is Kingston, Ontario. I just love the Great Lakes, or anywhere in the Great Lakes, but Kingston, Ontario is probably one of my favorites. Love sailing Newport, Rhode Island, and up and down the East Coast. Bermuda, I just absolutely adore. I'd say I've sailed a lot of different countries, but I don't know, there's something about the USA that has some pretty unique, fun places to sail that have always brought a lot of good memories. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. Where do you see the future of sailing? I mean, do you see it going into foiling or just a resurgence in your old Pearson 26 type boats? Where do you see sailing going?
Well, that's kind of a broad question. Because I think sailing is broken down into different components. There's high performance, there's recreation, there's, the beer can series, yacht clubs. If you're talking performance, I think hydrofoiling seems to be where everyone's going, and, like Top Gun, the need for speed, so to speak. But I don't know. I would have never guessed the Olympic format to change to a college dinghy type, course racing, where all the emphasis is on the start of a race, versus when it's a little bit of a longer course, you can try and make it up somewhere along the way. Yeah. So I don't know. I that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's go to regattas. What's your best regatta? Just your best memory of something great that stands out in your memory?
Obviously, winning the gold medal is probably the best memory. I am winning various world championships is another one. Sailing with Henry Spengler and at the 1998 Etchell Worlds, where we finished 7th out of 100. That was pretty special. There's a lot of special moments.
Yeah. Now I know around here in the States anyway, the 470 didn't have a lot of boats at regattas. Did you ever go like overseas and have to have 100 boats on the starting line? Did you ever get to sail in a whole lot of numbers?
When we went to Kiel, yes, there was definitely 80 to 100 boats on the line. and world championships and things like that. There are always a ton of boats on the line. Europe looks at sailing a lot differently than the US. They, like, as we all know, France, England, Italy, they love their sailing. And I know there's a lot of people that love their sailing in the United States, but it's not to the point of where they dump a ton of money into it, or it makes the front page news. It's just a different culture over there. So yeah, sailing to them, I mean, my gosh, even some of the old Olympic class boats, like the Star, that is not an Olympic class boat, get tons of people out there. So
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to your worst regatta. What's the worst event you've ever been to, or not event wise, but just just a bad sailing trip?
This one's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. It was the Pan Am trials here in Newport, and we were actually winning them, and we won the race by miles. Allison and I did, and it was something that we really wanted to do, only to find out afterwards that we were over the line by a half an inch.
Oh, yeah, that's a painful experience.
Half an inch. Who comes up with that? Yeah. Half an inch.
Yeah, and of course you beat everybody by a leg, so
yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah,
particularly when one side of the line said we were clear, the other line said half an inch. I'm like, okay, yeah. All right, well, it is what it is. So
yeah,
but two great people went, and they did well, and they medaled, so that's what counts.
Yeah, You're right about that. All right, so what's the most interesting thing you've seen floating by in the water?
A dead body, actually. Korea. The harbor is very polluted. There's a lot of current. The current's probably, I don't know, 10, 12 knots, or it's pretty crazy there. So you'd see underwater containers, dead cats. There were human remains that we saw. I don't know if Allison actually saw it, but when you're hanging over the wire, on a wire hanging over the water, you see a lot of interesting things, whereas the skipper sometimes just gets the water in the face. But yeah, it was pretty gross.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've seen what I could have sworn was a human arm one time when I was in Miami, and then I've seen at a plane crash not far from us. We were on a motorboat, and a plane crash, and
oh no,
we were the first ones to the scene, and everybody was dead instantly, and so that was fun. But
yeah.
Anyway, all right, so let's move on to something a little happier. What is your best role on a boat? Say you jump on somebody else's big boat. What's your best job?
I like crewing. I like being the bow person. I really do, particularly on an Etchell. I spent probably 12 years doing it. I really loved it. Or crewing on a 470. In fact, this is pretty funny. When I was a skipper all the time, sailing lasers, college, the whole 9 yards, and then I was making the transition over, I actually was skippering a 470, and Amy Backus was my first crew, and then she chose not to, and I was trying to find another crew to crew for me, and Allison wrote me this beautiful letter saying, I think you would be excellent as a crew. And I thought it was, I was like, oh, I really want to give it a go as a skipper. And this letter, Spencer's, my dog, is down here licking me.
That must be what's shaking the table.
Yeah, it is. Sorry about that. We're on the ocean. Woo. Yeah. So down, no. Anyway, so she wrote me a great letter about my attributes and why I would be a great crew, and it was very.
You're getting mugged.
Oh, here, see, Mr. Love. Okay. Yeah, no, go lie down. Come on. Anyway, sorry about that. So it was a very humbling experience to make that transition to skipper to crew. And then I realized that a crew is stop.
Well, your
Sorry.
dog must be exciting my cat. My cat is.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Stop.
It's okay. I think it's just animals.
So. Anyways, it was crewing. I didn't realize how much input and how much work there is to crewing to give to a skipper, and then the skipper also giving to the crew. And that's when I realized that, crewing is not a bad thing at all. If anything, if you can crew really well and you go back to skippering, you're a better person. You're more well-rounded. So my point that I was trying to make is when I did get back into the laser, I almost didn't know what to do with the stick. I was too much head to wind. I didn't know what I was doing. It was like, what is this stick? So anyways, but it has helped me in a lot of different ways. And I do encourage a lot of people to try different positions on any type of boat, because it does make you more well-rounded, and it appreciates everybody's role as well as how you can be more effective and efficient. Yeah. And doing your job. So.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. I've spent many years doing bow, mast, pit, trimming, rail meat.
Yeah.
The snap fishing. I've done a little bit of everything before.
Yeah.
So it's good to do all the jobs. Okay, so how do you consider your sailing style? Are you aggressive or conservative or meet in the middle, or what's your thoughts on it?
I never even thought about it. I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest with you. Obviously, you have to be somewhat aggressive. And when I guess because I'm sailing against the men the most of the part, I guess I'm sort of a chameleon. I respond to how they respond, and do the best I possibly can. And I try to, sum up all the information before making the decisions that I do off the starting line. But it really comes down to working the boat and doing the best job you can. There is a weight to strength ratio difference between men and women. But I also think because it's a tactical game on the water, that everybody's thought process is different. But it also, you could be, your weight could be a little off, but if you think a little bit better tactically, you may be able to beat the person that has a weight or strength ratio over you. So I think sailing can give kind of an even effect, if you will, between men and women, but you just have to keep fighting a little bit harder and smarter.
Yeah. When I was sailing lasers, I was really small, and I was like 165, and everybody else here was 185, 190. I was tall but scrawny. And for me, I always had to be a little more aggressive tactically and on the starts, and just every time I'd get close to somebody, I'd have to wiggle in front of them somehow. Because I couldn't out-hike them, I couldn't out-grind them.
Yeah.
So I think that made me a very aggressive tactician, and I find that it transfers over to me today when I'm in a Melges and I'm not slow, and I just go do something. Okay, I'm going to a corner because I know it's going to pay.
Yeah. I am definitely not a corner banger at all. But you do have to be. You do have to be aggressive on the line. I mean, that's people that are good sailors will be aggressive on the line, but I think you have to pick and choose your battles. Yeah. I mean, case in point, if the pin end is favored, you know that maybe only 2 or 3 people are going to get the pin end. Right. So why fight for it? Why not start a little bit up from the line and, at least get a middle of the road start, and then you can pick what side you want to go. I mean, you got to pick and choose your battles.
Yep.
But you have to be smart about it.
I'm praying right now. My cat has discovered where back of my computer wires are. She's literally crawling through. I'm praying I don't lose you on this one. So
Oh, well,
get. All right. So
might have crashed.
all right, good for you. Mine's all wired up. All right. So let's move on to maneuvers. Have you had any one spectacular maneuver you've pulled off on the water that you're just proud of or jumps out in your head?
I think the maneuver that I was always so proud of myself on and wanted to be the best at was when it came into a jibe mark, and going from wire to wire, or being able to come in, jibe the spinnaker, and then be able to quickly maneuver and get out and get the boat going as quickly as possible. That would be like, Simone Biles saying the somersault's her favorite. That was mine. And it was a good thing because it actually helped us in a lot of different events. So yeah, that was one of them.
All right. Yeah, I could do wire to wire tacks, but stopping to jibe a pole was never.
Yeah.
That always slowed me down a little too much. But
Yeah.
anyway, all right. So what's your favorite project that you've been involved in? It could be big boat project or just organizational project. You have anything that jumps out?
Well, I think when women's sailing was introduced into the Europe class, I was very fortunate to be on the U.S. Olympic Committee, and my role was to help with the Europe dinghies. And so working with Luther Carpenter and myself and Mike Shuttle on trying to figure out how we're going to introduce this boat to a lot of women and get people's interest involved. And then once we got the women involved, to be able to encourage them and share with them some of the experiences that Alice and I had at certain levels. Now, granted, that's a double-handed and there's a single-handed, but there were certain training things that were very important that we felt that would be beneficial to the Europe class. So I think helping out and getting that going at that time and then Julia Trotman, when she qualified, Alice and I reached out to her to chat with her and give her encouragement. And then Courtney Becker then was another one for 96. And then the Europe went away and then the laser came in. So, we try to be helpful on that. But being a part of that when the Europes first got selected, that was a fun project.
Yeah. Those were cute little boats, like a mini fin, but,
They're fun. They really are. Without all the struggles with the laser, but.
And a laser can be a struggle. And you know what? I've seen those fins sailing in heavy air. They look like they could be a handful as well. So.
Yes.
All right. So, America's Cup. How do you like the new iteration? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to plead the fifth. I started keeping up with it and then I just stopped, only because there's just so much going on with all the different things that are happening. I think from my point of view, I've always enjoyed the America's Cup when it's been monohulls and they're close and they can tack on one another and dipping, and that was really fun. That's, to me, I think of the America's Cup as that. I know that people have brought it to a new level and making it go fast, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, if you're faster than someone else, where are some of these little excitement type tacking duels and things like that are going to happen? I don't know. Or the appendage that sticks out. Can you head up? I don't know. So I'm just going to wait till it happens and let's figure it out from there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The boats are so advanced, and they're
I mean, they look like fun. I mean, I'm not taking it away from the hard work that has to go into that, because my son's involved in the America's Cup with America Magic, and I mean, those guys are training really, really, really hard, and kudos to them. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah. Now,
So,
like I said, those boats are amazing, and the talent, the level of people we've got on board is just insane.
mhm.
I mean, I remember back in the 12-meter days, it was a who's who, but it was more of
Yeah,
a, there's 7 or 8 really well-known guys, and the rest of them are sort of also rans. Now
yeah,
it's everybody is just a super stack before they could even walk in the
yeah,
door, and
yeah.
it's amazing what they're doing.
It does show a lot of excitement on television. I will say that, and I think that's awesome. Um, but I, I I I'd like to see it much closer in
Yeah,
points or that type of thing.
yeah. Well, I don't think anyone's going to know until they line up, and then we get a better idea. So,
Yeah, so the jury's out. Let's make our decisions then.
yep, amen. All right. So, do you have any future plans in sailing? What are you going to do?
Well, I've just gotten back in the laser again. I was out of the class for a bit because I have really bad shoulder problems, and I've been in physical therapy for a long time, and now I'm out. But it looks like this fall I'm going to have the surgery. It's just rotator cuff. It's just wear and tear. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into the laser masters, and I've been starting to work out and get into shape and get back out on the water with some Monday night series. And
Yeah.
it's great to be back out on the water. I missed it last year. So
Oh yeah. I got a question.
yeah,
You wore water bottles, didn't you?
yes,
How
yes.
is your body from that? I mean, do you notice
That's a
extra
good,
pain?
that's a really great question. My lower back, I was originally 5'10". I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
My back has compressed in that area, and there's a lot of arthritis. Now, the doctors did say that for the amount of training and keeping myself in shape, and not taking the water bottles for granted, I am I'm it's age,
Yeah.
but it's not I didn't hurt myself. Whereas I know a lot of the guys from the fin class or laser class or people that didn't put in the time to make sure that they were safeguarding against injuries for the water bottles,
Mhm.
they're having a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So
I'll speak as one of them because my back is a wreck, and
yeah,
they X-ray and MRI, and they go like, "Yeah, you've got some issues, but eh." But I mean, if I do anything just remotely, it's in and out. And I mean, my back will go out
yeah, I
3 or 4
think
times a day.
at the time, back in the day when they were talking about getting rid of the water bottles, I was against it because I was afraid that I couldn't compete against the men,
Yeah,
because that's all I did was compete against the men, and that's how I learned and got better. Um, and and then they finally eliminated it, and we all had to live with it, and it was the right decision,
oh yeah,
absolutely the right decision. But I didn't realize how many people didn't really. I think the women took more concern on how to really train in the gym to make sure that they were able to wear the bottle weight as well as a safeguard against injuries. And I think a lot of the guys just thought, well, I'm big and strong, I can lift a few weights, and I can just throw the bottles on. And those those are the people I really feel bad, because those are the people that are really suffering
yeah,
right now. And I can't say that I'm suffering. I've compressed my discs, but I'm not in pain or not. I can't do. It's not like I can't do anything.
yeah,
I tire out a little bit easier, but that's life, right?
yeah. I
So
think that comes with our age more than
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
All right, so what do you think of the state of women sailing these days? So
That's U.S. Sailing calling you to tell you what their opinion is.
that's yeah, exactly. Actually, that's
You know,
Quantum Sales
that's a
calling
great
me right
question. I don't, I don't, I guess how am I supposed to answer that? If it is women's Olympic sailing, I think I would like to see more women involved. I don't think it's that we don't have the people there to sail. I think it's more financial in order to get to the next step for the Olympics. If it's in general women's sailing in all different areas, whether it's yacht clubs or big boats, or I'm not quite tuned in on that. I just haven't been quite tuned in on that for a while. I do know that our president of U.S. Sailing, Corey Sertle, is doing a really nice job with Pam Healy to try and encourage and broaden women's sailing and women involved in sailing, whether it be on committees, sailing, technical, whatever. So I think there's a great movement moving forward to get a lot more women involved. But I think when it comes to pros or professionals or the Olympics, I think the hindrance is finances.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Maybe other people, a good person that could probably answer that is Dawn Riley. She's running the.
Obviously, you didn't watch a video that went live today. So.
Oh, was it on Dawn?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Sorry, Dawn. No, I'm sorry. I did not see that. Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's really awesome. She's done a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, she's done a more.
What was her comment?
Oh, good Lord!
I'm just curious. I can just look it up. I'll look it up.
I can't even remember. Yeah.
Never mind. I'll watch it.
Yeah, watch hers. Hers just aired today, or maybe it was yesterday. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to ideas on how we could grow the sport. Because I know you sail up in Newport, where you have there's sailors everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you weren't involved there and you were stuck, say, in Pensacola, Florida, New Orleans, to Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina, somewhere, how could you grow the sport of sailing someplace like that?
Well, it's interesting. I was the executive director of Sail Newport for 10 years before Brad Reed took it over and took it to the next level. And I do think that community sailing and getting school systems involved or underprivileged children, just having them to have the access to the water and to at least talk about it and get an experience. I think community programs is really the way to get more people involved in sailing, and it could be very basic. And I think from what I recall, 2 years ago when I was down in Florida for the community U.S. Sailing leadership program, there were a lot of impressive people that have started little subsets of community sailing all over the place. And I think that may be the answer to the future of how to grow the sport.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but that seems to be going in that.
You got my head spinning, because we've got an area and a facility basically in my area that would be perfect to do that out of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to start, other than, I guess, hassle the city council and things like that. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, it is. Well, the good news, Zane, is there's so many people out there, like Ding Schoonmaker and Don, myself, Brad, people that could give input to people that would want to start. Or, we always talked about it at Sail Newport to come up with a type of how to start a community sailing program, kind of 101 and what the basics are, to be able to hand out to people, because a lot of people would contact Sail Newport saying, we want to be just like you. How do we do it? And that was something that when I was the executive director during that time that the board of directors seriously considered, trying to map something together. And we did a general map, but and who knows, there may be one now. I don't know, but yeah.
All right, well, that might be something to look into. Okay, so what's your best advice for new people? People that are just getting into boating or into sailing. What kind of advice do you have for them?
Well, I think just to go with somebody that you feel comfortable and confident with, and just enjoy and relax and experience it. Don't, start creating fears or roadblocks. I think you just have to sit there, enjoy it, listen to the water lapping up against the boat, feel the wind in your hair, look at the scenery, and just let people learn it on their own pace. And then if people love it and they want to then say, let me hold the tiller, and you can talk to them about it. Your cat's having a good time.
This is my son coming at this time.
Oh.
This is definitely an interview of distractions, I think. So
that's okay. That's okay.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what I would say to them. Just relax and enjoy it, and just feel it.
I got you. All right, so now I know what you do for a living, but I'm not sure if anybody else does. You're like an interior decorator, designer, things like that, correct?
Correct. I'm an interior designer. My focus more on kitchens, baths, pantries, that type of thing. I'm not doing any of the soft goods anymore. I just do more of the kitchens and bathrooms. And I have a website if people are interested. And
throw it out there so people can hear it.
Oh, it's called Turnkey Design, LLC, or it's turnkeydesign.co. My daughter did my website, which I'm very proud of. She does a lot of branding type things, and she did a great job with it. So
yeah, I need a website. I just signed up for Twitter today with 7 views. I don't know how Twitter works. I've never tweeted.
Well, she would be the person that she would be the person that you call.
I need a tech savvy person to tell me how to do all this. So. So I'm learning how to get the volume right on recordings, which I fail miserably at all the time. And it's all a struggle. But, okay, with all of that, I want to thank you, Lynn. This has been great.
Well, thank you.
This has been great. I love having you here. It's great to see you again. We used to see each other all the time. Now it's just rare. So,
well, it's great chatting with you, and I'm glad that our personal pets enjoyed it, and maybe the viewers will enjoy that too. So, obviously, our pets want to learn more about sailing, so I'm glad they participated. And it's great seeing you, and I'm so glad things are going well. So,
all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, everybody. This is Zane with Sailing Views. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and all that good stuff. And once again, this is Lynn Jewell Shore, All-American, Hall of Famer, Olympian, you name it, world champ. She is just the bomb. So go to her website, get you a new kitchen and bath. So with that, this is Zane with Sailing Views and Lynn. We're signing out, over, out, and bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.